Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everyday Bitcoin Podcast. I am your host, Keith Meola. It's a new Bitcoin podcast focusing on Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin's use as money, and all things having to do with that as a new everyday money standard. Today is November 4th, 2025. We're at block height 922,200 at a current Bitcoin price at 104,331 US dollars. The price is currently dipping. Which the obvious reason is because people are selling more so than they're buying right now. But it doesn't really matter, just a timekeeping piece. But today I am here with a friend of mine and a founder of a Bitcoin circular economy community. So welcome to the show, Isa. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Keith. And
Yes, thanks for coming
I'm
on.
glad to be here. Really
Yes,
cool to
super
see
glad.
your new podcast.
Yes, thank you. You're episode number 3. Yes, 3.
Oh,
So
I like three.
yeah.
3 is my lucky number.
Ah, really? Nice.
Mhm.
But yeah, so things are new here, still finding my way, still finding, the awkward figuring out how to be a podcaster kind of thing. But yeah, welcome to the show. So yeah, as I mentioned, you are a founder of a Bitcoin circular economy called BTC Isla off the coast of Cancun, Mexico. But can you give a little background, I guess, on your personal Bitcoin journey and what led you, I guess, to here today?
My personal Bitcoin journey and what led me here today. Well, I actually stumbled across Bitcoin in a really interesting way. I feel like everyone's story is unique.
Mhm.
I was a journalist, and my fiance, my then boyfriend, was like, "Hey, you're a journalist. Why don't you cover the Bitcoin conference in Bitcoin, that was happening in Wynwood, Miami?" And he kept pushing for me to cover it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. So I ended up going to the Bitcoin conference in Wynwood. It was right after the pandemic, 2021, peak bull market. You know, everybody was high on life. Bukele had just announced Bitcoin legal tender. You had trash chutes filled with bolivars, the Venezuelan
Yeah.
currency. It was a great time to be alive. You had Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, doing tricks. It was really interesting. It was a good conference all around. And when I managed to get there, I started talking to a lot of the Bitcoiners and everyone there. And I realized these were a bunch of really smart individuals. The more I spoke to them, the more, you know, in depth the conversation would go and the facts that they would pull up and all these things that I started to realize, like, oh my goodness, I align with a lot of their vision, with their beliefs, their values, most of them. And
Mhm.
they're onto something. There's something here, you know? So I remember leaving the conference after 3 days, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go all in. Didn't even think about it twice. I used to save in cash because I'm a spender. So I would spend, if I would see my money in my bank account, I would spend it.
Uh-huh.
My goal, oh, if it's at zero, that's perfect. It's not on negative.
Yeah.
And what I was doing was my mechanism to save money was grab cash from the bank. I would make myself go to the bank and take out like $200 to $250, every time I would get a paycheck or something. And that cash, I would save it in a savings box, in a safe in my house, in cash and physical, for rainy days or something. I just knew I had to save because everybody was like, "What, you don't save?" Like, no.
Yeah.
So that was my savings. So what I ended up doing was grabbing all that money, selling all my stocks, and putting everything into Bitcoin. Mind you, it was at 69K at the time. And I
Mhm.
did no research. It was just like trusting all the Bitcoiners. And then the price crashed. It went all the way to 17K, like that whole bear market, And
Yeah.
that's when I started learning about Bitcoin, that it didn't matter, that it was going to go up. Obviously, at the beginning, I'm like, crap, is it going to go to zero? Is it? But once you start digging and everything, and you do your own research, like Saylor says, once you put in the 100 hours on Bitcoin, there's no going back. And
Yeah.
that's what it
Agreed.
was. Like reading Bitcoin books, hearing some podcasts, researching about it, you don't even have to go into like the Bitcoin route type of way. You can literally just go through fractional reserve, what is money, look at what the Fed is doing with our money, the way that they print money out of thin air, and you're good. You realize you need another solution. So my perspective was this was the solution for me.
Mhm.
And that's how I got into Bitcoin. How I ended up here on the island was me and my boyfriend were long distance for about 5, 6 years. I was in Miami, he
Wow,
was
that's a
in
long time.
Mexico, really long time. And
It's a long time to do long distance.
I know, but when you find the one, you find the one.
True, true.
So I told myself, I was like, you know what? He tried to move to Miami, didn't work. He wanted to move to Mexico. I was like, you know what? Everything I do is online now. I ended up quitting my fiat job, everything, started a company online. And I was like, I have nothing tying me down in Miami. What am I gonna do here? I think it was like time for me, to move. But I didn't want to move to Mexico without having something of mine there. Since my business is online, I wanted to build roots somewhere. And I had been in the space for about like 5, 6 years.
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I really want to orange pill the island. Claudio, we used to work. He works in Isla Mujeres. That's why I was like, you know what, Isla Mujeres, why don't we move there? I can orange pill the island, and
Yeah, why
it
not?
kind of, yeah, why not? It started as an idea, and it was until I was shooting a documentary with Motive from Peru. Motive is a nonprofit. They're organizing multiple Bitcoin circular economies across of Peru, in all of Peru, in the outskirts, in the cities, everywhere. And seeing what they were doing, not only in the aspect of just building Bitcoin circular economies, but in the humanitarian aspect, that they were teaching these women, because they focus mainly on women and trying to save women from really fucked up relationships, families. They teach them different tools. They teach them how to speak English, or they teach them how to be an entrepreneur. They teach them how to bake, or how to do something that they can sell, a service that they can provide. And that's how they're building their business circular economies,
Hmm.
teaching them and making them, better humans. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I want to do. Because yeah, orange pilling the island sounds cool, but I wanted something more, to make a, a difference. Before leaving Miami, I wrote on a whiteboard. I was like, I came to this world to make a difference, so a difference I will make. So
Nice.
making a difference in someone's life it doesn't matter if it's 10, 500, or just one person. That's what I felt like my calling was. So that's when BTC Isla started taking shape. And that's when I was like, no, it's not just about orange pilling the island. It's about something more. It's about
Hmm.
changing people here on this island. Everything is mostly connected to being financially free. So
Yeah.
teaching someone about, how to be a sovereign individual, how to be financially stable, it's something people don't teach. So it's sort of been like this focus of mine to build that here in BTC Isla. We're soon going to start with offering English classes, and try
Awesome.
to bring things to them, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, education is super important. I think it's one of the things that most people, I mean, it's not one of the things that is super stands out when you start thinking about building in a community around Bitcoin and Bitcoin in general, but like at the foundation, it's really about education and
100%.
really just, yeah, showing people there is a different way and just learning about money because like you said, like no one knows about money. We're not taught about money, which is probably by design. The powers that be, but it's super fundamental for
Literally, like you
well
just
for
said,
living. Yeah,
probably
like
by
it doesn't
design,
seem
because
like that.
think about it. We're designed, you know, the phrase knowledge is key, knowledge is power.
Yeah,
But what type of knowledge are they feeding us in school? Irrelevant things, you know?
yeah, not for the true, the truly understanding, I guess, the way the world works. No, we're not taught that. It's kind of just like, oh, focus on all this other stuff and continue going down the same path that everyone we want you to go down. But yeah, and I think people, I guess, I don't know, like sometimes when you think about money and you think how important it is, it kind of seems like people maybe like think about greed and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you like to talk about money and like study money. It's like, yeah, but it's really important. It's not like I'm not trying to just become a rich person and be greedy and like hoard money and like just focus on money. But like once you get into it and you realize how fundamental it is to just living life and just living a peaceful life and not just being consumed in the rat race, you need to understand like what you're doing. And money makes the world work, unfortunately. It's fundamental.
Yes.
But yeah, it's cool to hear you're gonna do English classes. That's very exciting. I assume there's a decent amount of content. I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot of Bitcoin content in Spanish as well, because it is what the third most spoken language in the world, maybe. But obviously, most stuff that Bitcoiners are consumed with is English content. So that'd be really important, I think.
Yeah.
Just another way to
It's
obviously learn.
English is easier for me to teach Bitcoin in because that's how I learned it. So it's been
Yeah.
a wild journey about Bitcoin in Spanish because there's some words that only work in the English language, you know?
Hmm.
Bitcoin was built but in English, you know? So there's some kind of like saying, like for example, I always talk about like there's this word that I always ask, how would you say it in Spanish? But anyways, I
Hmm.
digress.
Ah, okay.
I'm gonna because I always ask, there's a Mexican Bitcoiner group, and I always ask them, how do you say this? It has to do with miners or something in Spanish, but there's like
Okay.
no word for it. So
Like hash? No, not hash.
no,
Hash. I
hash,
don't know.
I don't know. Let me look it up. Let me see. I always ask the Mexican group.
Hmm.
Mexico.
I totally feel you because I mean not obviously, but for those listening, I speak Italian, and when like speaking about Bitcoin in Italian, it's sometimes difficult because there's just so many terms that like it's such a technical discussion. There's so many things that I just don't know in Italian, and half the time they just use the English words anyway. But like you don't know that. But it's always a big like it's always I mean it's like I like the challenge of like discussing like trying to orange pill in Italian when you normally just spend so many hours just consuming English content. It's just like it's kind of a curveball. It's like oh no, all these different things. Never thought about
Literally,
it this way.
the 100%. It's like now this I can't find it.
Ah, okay, it's all good. It'll be a mystery.
It'll be a mystery. I know. If anybody that's watching knows, please drop it in the comments.
Yes, drop it in the comments, of course. Leave feedback. Subscribe and like. No.
Subscribe and like.
Subscribe and like, click the bell. And so BTC Isla. Also for the listeners, so I have been to the island twice. I've spent significant time on the island with Isa. So I consider myself part of the BTC Isla family. I'm
You
still
are.
involved from afar, and hopefully will be back soon. to work at the Bitcoin Cafe and continue to contribute and stuff. But and I'll leave a bunch of links to the YouTube channel and the website and the Noster and the Geyser fund, everything in the description. But where was I going with this thought? I guess just BTC Isla. So it's been around for almost 2 years now, correct? Like 2 years in February?
Yes, we're about to be 2 years.
Yes, and in that time, we're about 30 merchants, which is really impressive. Whenever I tell anybody that like in the Bitcoin space, they're like, "Oh my God, 30 merchants on
Well, I
like a
would
really
say
tiny
mostly
island."
like 25. 30 is a lot.
It is when you think about it. From
It is.
zero to 25 to 30 on an island where like, so what's been, I guess, the biggest challenge, or not, I guess, maybe the barrier to entry to Bitcoin? Because obviously we are more
There's so
financially
many
privileged from the
challenges.
Western world. And they, yeah, so what's like the biggest thing that the islanders maybe don't immediately grasp? Is it like the savings part of it, or just like, because I know a lot of people
Well,
have to like, can't really save a lot because they need to like, use whatever income they have. So maybe, so I guess, I don't know, what were you going to say?
well, there's barriers in every aspect. Everybody gets into Bitcoin for different reasons. I can't tell you that they fully understand and respect Bitcoin. They don't, but they accept it. The way that they get into it is Bitcoin is another currency. Like the dollar, pesos, the euro. That's how they view it, more or less. Because in reality, here, there's no saving culture. There is no investing for your future self. And I mean it in every single aspect. Even in like business, people don't grasp the idea that I'm going to sacrifice today so I can do better for tomorrow. I think that's something we've been like privileged to learn at such a young age, especially I grew up in the States. So growing up in the States, it's sort of like, and how my parents raised me, it's when you're young, you kind of like go through, like you suffer when you're younger, you sacrifice a lot of things so then by the time you're 30, 40, 50, you can enjoy. And it's that
Yeah,
mentality, like, oh, like I will sacrifice, being uncomfortable so I can be comfortable in the future, you know? But here, what I've noticed is they're very short-minded, very short-sighted. I'm not saying everyone on the island, but most of the people that we've talked to and dealt with, they don't see the greater vision. So it's been a barrier for me to even like consider it like, hey, you can save in this, or this is way better than the peso, or like, did you know like the peso is actually worthless? It's also,
yeah,
and not only here in Mexico, it's problems that happens with Bitcoin adoption everywhere in the world. And the thing is, the barriers, they're many, because it's not only in the merchants getting someone to accept Bitcoin. Like, you've done it, you've knocked on doors, you've told people like, hey, like, can you just accept Bitcoin? It literally costs nothing and it doesn't affect their business in nothing, because the amount of Bitcoiners that are going to come to that business, it's not a significant amount,
not yet.
compared to the non-Bitcoiners that are going to, not yet, but compared to the non-Bitcoiners, like in a full month of, revenue and profit that a business makes, out of the 100 people that they would get, maybe on a good note, 7 of them are going to be Bitcoiners. So that
Yeah,
93% can sustain your business. But they don't see like you're only like one person a week is going to be coming to buy in Bitcoin type of vibe.
mhm,
So that's been hard. It's been getting hard. And once you get them onboarded, the other hard part is to keep them accepting Bitcoin, because many of them
yeah,
forget, if not all Bitcoiners go there all the time, they forget how to charge people in Bitcoin, or they think it's too tedious, and they've just bury the hatchet type of vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I, but anyways, the other issue is getting students to attend the classes, because how do you get someone to dedicate their amount, like their time, which is even more scarce than Bitcoin,
Mhm.
to literally listen to something that they don't care about? So it's it's been a lot. It's been a journey. It takes time. It's
Mhm.
process that honestly you don't notice until you stop and look back and see how far you've come. But every progress is good progress, because we're learning from everything. We learn
Yeah.
whether, like, you just have to adapt. And that's the thing. That would be my advice to anybody that's starting a Bitcoin circular economy: is listen to your community and don't be
Mhm.
afraid to pivot. You have to pivot when things aren't going your way. Like at the beginning, I was first focusing on teaching. And when I realized that teaching is really not going to get me that much further, like I need to focus on the merchants more, focus more on the merchants and then start teaching them. So it's been like sort of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg type of vibe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And yeah, agreed. And hopefully, the more that merchants know and they put up the sticker that says we accept it, hopefully, that will spark curiosity with the person that is
Or
paying,
the
the customer, to maybe ask questions and inquire more so. And I know, like on the island where everyone kind of knows each other, like for instance, the churros tacos and the churro, that the churro people
exact.
decided to accept it because their neighbors were accepting it. And I think
Well,
it
which
spreads
is
easily
another thing.
that way.
Yeah, like trust, building trust. You can't just come to a place and expect everybody to trust you. So I think it's helped
Yes.
that we're still here. We've been here for almost 2 years, and we've developed this trust in the community. And that's where it lays.
Hmm. Have you ever felt that it was difficult? Because I assume that the Mexican people know immediately that you're not from Mexico based on your accent. But have you ever like maybe not, I don't want to say discriminated against, but have you ever felt it difficult that they to trust
Race.
you because you're not a native islander? Like
Yeah,
all of a
I
sudden
mean, there
outsiders
is
coming and trying to persuade us. Like what?
there is racism on the island,
Okay.
and obviously it's inevitable.
Hmm.
There are times where, so it's just two types of people. Like there's some people that they're just rude up front, and then there's other people that will listen to you and just say no. But yeah, I've experienced some, but it's part of the territory. Like it's inevitable. Like what,
Hmm.
I'm not
True.
Mexican and I'm not from here either, but that's not gonna stop me. Like I want them to get to know me and build that relationship with them. So I don't let it get to me. And I'm just like, okay, this is like the first approach. Once they get to know me, they see like that I have good intentions, that I'm not a bad actor, that I'm not a bad person. And
Hmm.
I respect their decision regardless. I'm just here to show them the options that they have, which is something that nobody takes the time to do. We all assume we're born into a country and we start using their fiat from the day we're born to the day that we die, and even months after we die, we still are in debt because with the casket and everything. So
Hmm.
we never have a say in what currency we use. Why are we even using it? So just giving them the options, like, hey, this isn't your only way to live in the world type of vibe.
Yes. And I think it's also one of the things that people don't think about until you point it out to them. It's like, are you choosing to use this currency? It's like, no, it's just, you're just forced into it. but there is another way, a better way. But have you seen merchants? Obviously, the merchants that accept it happily accept it. From my experience, do people ever like come into to my Akita or the Bitcoin Cafe, and pay in Bitcoin or pay amongst
Yes,
themselves?
which is insane because, for example, this weekend, the it so happened that the Exodus team came to eat at Mayaquita, and then they realized we accepted Bitcoin. But they came because they were just like enjoying Isla Mujeres, and they're like, "You accept Bitcoin? Oh my gosh!" So there's been so many tourists that stumble across Mayaquita, the restaurant, and they notice that they accept Bitcoin. Or when we have the tuk-tuk out there with the whole Bitcoin B, they're like, Bitcoin. So having the Bitcoin logo brings out Bitcoiners in hiding.
Hmm.
And it's such a joy to see how many of us are out there and from different parts of the world. It's
Hmm.
crazy how just it kind of unites all of us.
Yeah, and there's a lot that are, I guess, more so
It's
reserved
kind of
about it
like,
and not.
oh, you're a Bitcoiner, so you know what's happening in the world. Like you know the
Yeah,
truths out
exactly.
there. You know what's been, played by the Federal Reserve.
Hmm. That's like one of the great things about the conferences and just meeting, like going to Bitcoin meetups and like just meeting other Bitcoiners. You like immediately know that you have similar values and similar levels of just intrigue and curiosity about the world. So off the bat, you kind of feel already connected to people, and you can kind of skip
Yeah.
a lot of surface level conversations, and it's not weird to immediately kind of go into more deeper things with other Bitcoiners because oh, we have a lot of common ground already about things that are important. So that's always fun. And I think when I was there in January, yes, there was somebody, a regular tourist that had never spent Bitcoin before, but like an American that was like an investor.
Yeah.
But I believe they had Strike, and they ended up using it to buy something. And I was like, oh, I never used it
Bro,
before for money.
the island has taken many Bitcoiners' virginities away, in
Nice.
spending Bitcoin. Many, because one of the things that many people don't talk about is some Bitcoiners are really old Bitcoiners that got into Bitcoin before the Lightning Network existed, and they've never spent actual Bitcoin. Like they've sent Bitcoin to their wallet, they've purchased Bitcoin, but that's it. The Bitcoin has stayed in their wallet. Some have feared that their government or their country will tax them, or others just they don't want to spend their Bitcoin. So seeing them see how people here on the island use Bitcoin as a currency as well, not only as a store of value, has changed their perspective. And it's been such a joy to see many people spend Bitcoin for the first time, see how the system works, how you can literally just peer to peer instantly without asking for permission. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's super fun to obviously just use Bitcoin as money. It feels cool. At least from my
Right?
nerdy point of view, it feels
It's
really cool.
easy too, especially when you're traveling. Oh my gosh. Especially you, like, for example, you've been in this 10-month travel spree, going to every country and changing the currency, it's such a hassle. So if you go
Yeah.
somewhere that just accepts Bitcoin, it's like super easy, beam, boom, bam. You don't even have to worry about anything.
Yeah, there's been so many times where it's like, oh my God, Bitcoin fixes this, like this stupid exchange problem, or just like, and obviously with other travelers, like people, paying each other back and everything. It's like, oh my God, this would be so much
Right?
easier to like split meals, pay people back. And even you always run the people that was like, oh, I just can't, like, I think yesterday I met somebody that was like, oh, I just got here from Bolivia and I like still have Bolivian money. It's like, well, you can't do anything with that now, but it's like you could maybe if you
No,
met
or
somebody that
let's
was
say you
going,
pay
it could
someone,
just change.
like, for example, you're in Chile right now, you pay someone's meal and they have to pay you back. With Bitcoin, it's instant. But if they don't
Yeah.
have Bitcoin, then they got to get a bit, like, how would you even get that money back?
exactly. And yeah, it's easy. And there's about a lot of times too in a lot of these, I guess Latin America, that where they don't accept cash, or sorry, they don't accept cards, and they want cash. Sometimes I have like a big bill or whatever, and they kind of look at you like it's my problem, and I'm like, it's cash or Bitcoin. It's like, I'll gladly pay you in Bitcoin, and they're like, no. That's like, okay. But then it's like,
They're like,
I just get personally annoyed when it's like I'm forced to pay in cash, which I don't want to do. But then you're gonna, be upset that I'm paying with too big of a bill and you won't accept card or Bitcoin. And I don't know, they just don't know. But what was it? A couple days ago, I was in Pichilemu, a little beach town, like 3 hours southwest of Santiago. And I was literally walking down the street. I always check BTC map wherever I go. There was nothing on the map. But I randomly was just like staring at this burger place, and then I noticed the Bitcoin sticker. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, do you actually accept Bitcoin? And they're like, yes. And I was like, oh my God, I'll be right back. Because I left my phone at the hostel charging. I literally sprinted back to the hostel to get my phone. And I was like, great. Bought a burger with Bitcoin, then added it to the map. So now it's actually on BTC map.
what? That is
But I was so happy.
epic.
I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, do you actually accept it? Like, yes. Like, oh my God. But, and that's just a fun story. And I just conclude this slight rant about this little town. I went to this liquor store to buy a bottle of wine. Chilean wine's good. And I asked if they accepted Bitcoin, and the guy was like, no. And I was like, why? And he's like, because it goes up and down. And I was like, oh, so you rather just have your money go down then? And he kind of was like, what? And I was like, never mind. But anyway, I digress.
That's funny.
Yeah. But going back to the island, so obviously you have, well, I guess, I don't know, could you just maybe describe to people that aren't really informed kind of how it works on the island? Because you have Malaquita, the big, like the unofficial hub, or I guess it's the official hub, but you now have the Bitcoin Cafe, which is, can you talk about the Bitcoin Cafe and what's going on with that and the idea and like how it came to be?
We have the Bitcoin Cafe. We have the Point Break Gym, the first gym on the island to accept Bitcoin, and it's the first gym in all of Mexico to run its own node. And we have like a mini hotel for Bitcoiners. So we're slowly trying to build this Bitcoin citadel here on the island, I call it. But the Bitcoin Cafe, so it started with the mini hotel, the boutique hotel, and then the restaurant. The restaurant was actually the first place on the island to accept Bitcoin. And then I would do all the Bitcoin meetups there. And I realized, like, when you're in a restaurant, for restaurant owners, you need the customers to come in and out, consume and leave. And I wanted somewhere for the Bitcoiners that they would come, travel all this far to come to the island and enjoy like the beautiful beaches, to have a place where they can just chill, like have a place where to go, where to chill and everything. So what I needed them to do is literally build something where they can just enjoy and not feel like that they have to go somewhere. And that's where the idea happened of the Bitcoin Cafe, because I realized most of the best ideas I've had and the best conversations and everything have happened with Bitcoiners. So having a place on the island where you can meet Bitcoiners and see them and, share a coffee it starts in a physical place, at conferences and all this. So that's how the Bitcoin Cafe started. And I have a Geyser fund that has helped a lot in the building of the Bitcoin circular economy. And I end up putting all my wildest dreams in there,
Yeah.
And and I ChatGPT'd an image of the Bitcoin Cafe. I was like, listen, I want you to build a Bitcoin Cafe, with a huge Bitcoin logo, an orange couch, everything. It generated me an image, and I'm like, wow, I would love to do this. And I put it on Geyser Fund, like, okay, whatever, like, I'm going to let it sit there. And I think like 2 weeks later, Bitcoiners started donating to help me build the Bitcoin Cafe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to do the Bitcoin Cafe. I
Yeah.
have to do it. And they started pushing into like me doing the Bitcoin Cafe, and they made it happen. So it starts out like a crazy idea, and then the Bitcoiners just help me build things. So that's how the
Yeah.
Bitcoin Cafe happened. We ended up opening it August 21st, for 8 over infinity. And
Ah, nice.
yeah, that's why we opened it in the Bitcoin Cafe. We managed to build it in less than 2 months. It was kind of crazy. And that
Hmm.
place it only accepts Bitcoin and cash, because I also want the locals to start learning about Bitcoin. And that's
Yeah.
been so,
Yeah, that's awesome.
sort of like
And
come for the coffee and stay for the revolution type of vibe.
yes, agreed. And it's awesome. I mean, it's an amazing place to hang out, amazing view, right? On the water. And all the drinks are like I mean, it's typical coffee drinks, but they all have cool Bitcoin names.
Yeah, Bitcoin
Like the hot
names,
old cappuccino and stuff like that. The Genesis shot,
the
just the
Nakamoka,
espresso.
Genesis,
Nakamoka.
the cold,
Yes.
cold store.
Yes. And it was cool. And maybe I'll work there one day, hopefully. That'd be cool.
Yes.
But originally you also did want to use Bitcoin Sats as as the unit of account, correct? But that unfortunately didn't work
Yeah,
out.
we tried. But the thing is, I wanted to put it in the surfboard. I'm going to do a menu where it's all priced in sats, but it's difficult in a sense where, I wish many people would be down for it, but even the Bitcoiners, it's a cool idea, but they're like, okay, it's this in sats, but how many dollars or how many pesos type of vibe. So as
Yeah.
you keep pushing for it, I'm gonna do like a special Bitcoin menu, and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. And even just, I don't know, adding, I guess, the Sats next to the pesos as well, if you wanted to, which I guess is also
Well, is that
interesting
it
because then people, well, that might
changes?
create,
Yeah,
that could create problems. Some people are like, well, which one is it?
yeah.
But I would love a Sats menu. Obviously, yeah, it is a bit
I will. Yeah, I'm
variable
gonna do
still.
a Sats menu and then chart, because you still pay with Bitcoin, so it'll be cool.
Yes. And then do you get people, because I know like when I was there just no what was it, last month, yeah, about a month ago, the Point Break gym, which was super cool. And it was very active. There's a lot of people, a lot of locals. Does
Yes.
anybody pay in Bitcoin?
Yep. We had
Oh.
the first membership of it, one of the first ones. It was actually paid in Bitcoin by this business owner on the island that we managed to orange pill. He now, the owner of Rustico, he accepts Bitcoin in his
Ah,
restaurant.
okay. Yes.
Due to all the Bitcoiners coming to his restaurant, he managed to have a Bitcoin stack. And because of that, he was able to pay for his gym membership in Bitcoin. So yeah, we have
Nice. That's
Bitcoiners come
awesome.
to the gym. They pay in Bitcoin, so it's cool.
Do you get any people, because what is it? No, Ledin. Yes, Ledin is, I guess, one of the sponsors. Do you have some of their graphics and stuff? And do you ever get people at the gym that are like wondering what it all is? Like, what is this Ledin and like
Well,
stuff
that's
like
one of the
that?
things that I realized, how I was talking earlier about pivoting.
Hmm.
My One of the things why I pivoted to building the Bitcoin Cafe and building the gym was because I was noticing that I wasn't really getting far by me approaching people and approaching the locals and to come and take the Bitcoin classes. So I pivoted and started to sort of like put my money where my mouth is type of vibe, where you say something, but you're not doing it. So I decided to be like, okay, I'm going to show them how, like, for example, like how the Bitcoin Cafe will make a difference and how the gym by accepting Bitcoin, what it will attract more customers and more clients. So having the option to accept Bitcoin in the gym, having the Bitcoin logo there, having Ledin, the gym powered by Ledin, how you can get Bitcoin backed loans with Ledin, having the Bitcoin gym, it starts conversation.
Yeah.
It keeps them asking questions. And that's where it all starts. That's where your entry to the rabbit hole begins, once you get them to start asking questions, because it's coming from them. It's not you pushing them to do it. So it's sort of like psychology in a way. And
No, yeah.
ever since I started accepting Bitcoin, having events like the Bitcoin Fit Games, we're going to do another health retreat with Bitcoiners in December 9 to the 12th with Tone. It's this free event where everybody can come if they want. They just have to, come to the island and be part of it. But that's
Nice.
what sparks questions. And that's what gets people talking. And, they're like, oh, well, next time you have a meetup, can you invite me? And this.
Yeah, that's great. I agree. I think it's as long as and I always I guess tying into whenever I ask everywhere I go, ask if they accept Bitcoin. I know the answer is no, but it's all about planting seeds. So I think just
Planting
creating
seeds.
creating intrigue, creating curiosity, planting the Bitcoin seed, and just if you're having the sponsor names and just having the Bitcoin theme stuff, I think definitely people that are curious will definitely express their curiosity and learn is important. And what was the other thing I wanted to add? I forget. Must have not been that important. But cool. Very cool. Very exciting. But I guess we could wrap it up. Do you have any parting thoughts or anything for the audience? Any last things you would like to bestow upon us?
Yes, I want to challenge everyone to at least go to a Bitcoin circular economy in their lifetime. I think it's a really cool experience. It pushes you to, visit a new place, but also contribute to the community. It is essential to have Bitcoiners go to Bitcoin circular economies and be part of them, because the low people, that Bitcoin is greater than the people there. That it's this huge community outside of it, that it's literally, it is something, it's something that is in all of us. I look at it like we're fighting good versus evil type of vibe. This is Bitcoin is the good money, and fiat is the bad money. So
Yeah.
yes,
Nice. Yes, I
help your
implore.
community.
Exactly. And for those listening, once again, BTC Isla, Isla Mujeres, little island off the coast of Cancun, Mexico, which for the Americans that may be listening, and maybe Canadians too, but I know a ton of Americans are always going to Cancun. So if you're a Bitcoiner
Yes, they
and you
should
go to
come.
Cancun, yes, day trips are one of the common things to do in Cancun. There's tons of ferries to and from the island. It's like a half-hour journey. And yes, everybody should check it out. Go to the island, spend some time there. It's a beautiful, very chill place to be. And, great people like Isa. She'd love to have you.
Yes.
And maybe I'll be there next time. Whoever meet anybody would be cool. Great. So yeah, I'll put all the links because Isa also has a YouTube channel. Which maybe next time if we chat again, we could get into that. That's really interesting.
Yes.
And I guess GetBase too, your other media company. You got a lot of things going on, but I'll put them all in the
I
description
know.
for everyone to check out. And great. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Isa, for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And yes, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much, Keith. Bye.
Yes. Bye.